In today's show, we have another multi-topic episode, where first we discuss, is equal parenting a good thing? And secondly, we discuss, should women make the first move?
And now, the TNT Talk Show, daring to go where other podcasts fear to tread.
Hello, I'm Tony Fasulo, and I share the stage with my esteemed friend and colleague, Taya Boya. Taya, hello, my friend, once again. I hope you keep me safe and well. And do I say it?
I mean, the people who aren't watching this will be wondering what the hell we're laughing about. Hello, everyone.
Yay!
Naff off, Tony. just go away, man. What was I going to say? Well, you got me away from my usual. What the hell? What are you going to do anyway?
I know. You see, it's only taken over 5 years to get you to be more civil rather than your.
What are you going to do? Huh? You're not making it easy. I'll tell you that for free. Hello to someone or someone's. I think it was someone's. I love this name, by the way. Sublimity.
What?
Sublimity.
Sublimity.
Yes, Sublimity.
Is that a made-up name?
No. Sublimity in Oregon, in the United States.
Oh wow! What a
And
great
it's
name.
in the state of Oregon, the county of Marion. And I tell you what, it's a cute little place. It's under 3,000 people as of the 2010 census.
Oh wow!
So really lovely to hear from such a
Listener somewhere there in what's the place again? Say it again.
Sublimity.
Sublimity.
Such a lovely name, yes.
What a lovely name for a
I know.
For a
I thought
town.
we
That's
got
great.
to, and they've got this great looking. Let's see, what is this? This is the post office. It looks sort of colonial kind of building that is reminiscent of some of the, apart from it's built of wood, so that's a bit different. But otherwise, architecturally, it reminds me of some of the older type of houses in Nigeria. So
Wow.
yeah,
Well,
Sublimity.
welcome, listeners from Ohio in Sublimity. What a lovely
No,
little
no,
town.
Oregon. I said no,
Oregon. Oh, not Ohio. Sorry, my
not Ohio, it's
apologies.
Oregon.
But Sublimity. What a lovely place. That's definitely the best sounding place
Isn't
from
it?
our listeners. It is. It's lovely. I do like that.
Yes, that was great.
Right.
And question time with
Tyler's
Tyler.
question. Yeah, go on then.
Okay, so let me see where we are. Okay, so seriously now, this is one for you because you are an aliens kind of man.
Me. Okay, go on then.
Do we nowadays assume, given the state of our society, that if people are taken away by aliens, they are actually being rescued and not abducted?
Do you know what? That's actually a really valid point.
Because I think there's a strong case to be made there.
Yeah.
If you see a UFO, you put your thumb out and say, any chance of a lift? Can you help a bogan out, so to speak?
No, valid point. Yes, because things aren't brilliant at the minute, but who knows? It's just a cycle. Let's hope it's just a cycle, and we're coming around the other end. We'll shall see.
Well.
Right, let's move on with today's topic. And well, we've actually got a multi-topic episode today, and this is time permitting, of course. You know what we're both like. We have all good intentions to have more than one subject to talk about, but we rabbit on, and sometimes we never get more than one done. But we'll try on this occasion to introduce another topic other than the main one we start with. And the first one we are beginning with is, if I can find my notes, I can't find it now. Right, here we go. Is equal parenting actually a good thing?
That's not the first one.
Yeah?
No.
Which one did you want me to talk about first?
The one that you said you were going to talk about first. To be honest. That's not the one at all. You said, and I've got it in front of me, The TNT talk show. I just love it. Talk about guerrilla podcasting.
What was the question then? I'm sure I've sent this out to you. You even acknowledge it. This is my
I had
esteemed
to.
friend and colleague who's accepted.
Yeah.
Don't
Oh,
tell me you've turned up and revised and researched the wrong notes.
Yes. I do beg your pardon. Sorry. Do you know what? I think I'm glitching. I don't know. I don't know what's happened there. When you said is equal parenting a good thing, I heard it, but my brain translated into the other one that we're doing. So sorry
Oh,
about. So
okay. So you're good. You're
I'm
good.
good. Yeah. I'm good. Yeah.
Okay. Is equal parenting a good thing? Now, strangely, you picked this.
I didn't pick this.
You did.
Why?
I don't know.
No. What the
You had a
hell?
bad day at the office today.
I've been laughing my head off all day because I'm looking forward to saying that. Why the hell did you pick this? And then you're telling me that I picked this?
Right, ladies and gentlemen, we have lists that we put all topic ideas on, and Tayo's list is huge compared to mine, and so we normally take it in turns just to pick from whichever person's list. But because Tayo's list is so much bigger than my list, you know, he's showing his masculinity here. We tend to go for more of his topics because they're a bit out there. And this is definitely on your side of the fence. So it's definitely your
Really?
topic. Yeah.
I must have been spazzing out, man. I had no idea what the hell
You're
I was
having
doing.
that a lot. Is it age?
It must be. The other day, and this is now serious because I'm really worried about it. But, well, I don't know. I was really worried about I shouldn't really be airing my medical issues on air, but the other day I had a lot of problems with the word spelling the word tear, as in tear down the walls, or just tear. I just didn't believe it was spelled T-E-A-R. I double checked it. It's like, no, isn't it T-E-R-E? Is it
looks
what really?
weird.
I just was absolutely convinced that that was wrong. Why? I'm still not comfortable when I look at T-E-A-R. To me, it's like what runs down your face.
Yeah.
I'm just bringing
Is this the
something down.
Mandela effect type thing where you thought it was spelt differently before and now you're...
I wasn't even sure about the spelling. I was just uncertain about the spelling of it, about how it was spelled. I didn't have an alternative, but I was just pretty sure that it's not spelled that way. I mean, there was only one occasion. This is the second time in my entire life, but it's the second time something like this has happened. The first time was in the late 70s when I wasn't absolutely sure how to spell my first name.
What?
No, I was at uni at the time, and the person asked me, the receptionist, or whatever. Okay, so how do you spell your name? And I opened my mouth. We got oh, was it? It's like this, yes. Just for about a few minutes, and I was just not comfortable that the name I gave, I did spell it correctly, but I wasn't comfortable that it was the right way to spell it.
I mean, we always do, we not always, but there's a lot of times where that actually happens. And I know we're digressing from the topic in question, but
Yeah, that's what I'm trying to.
it happens to all of us. I mean, I've had that. I've looked at something and thought, that's not right, is it? No, it's not right. And I've been adamant it's been wrong. And then other people have looked at it and gone, no, it's fine, it's fine. And I'm like, really? It's almost like a complete flummoxing, like that's not how it's spelt or said or whatever. And but yeah, is it age? I don't know.
Have you happened to? No, because I was young at the time with my first name thing, but I don't know. So it's just weird. And very quickly, because obviously we're digressing. You said this happened to you, was it about spelling or about something else?
Spelling.
Spelling.
Yeah, spelling.
Oh.
I can't remember what it was in particular.
Oh, so
now,
maybe
but
it's a more widespread thing.
yeah, it could be. Could be.
Interesting. Okay, so
Because I had to double check with my wife, and I'm like, "This is not right, is it?" And I couldn't. She looked and went, "Yeah," and I went, "No," and I was almost even disbelieving her, and I had to go online and double check again. I was like, "It is what?" And it was almost like a Mandela effect.
That's how I felt. He's like, no, is it?
Yeah, it was.
That's incredible.
It's really weird. Yeah.
Can the audience write in and tell us what is the most commonplace word that they couldn't remember how to spell? That would be very interesting.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, whatever platform you're on, put it on there. If you've got the comment section, do so. But if you don't want to do that, you can actually do it on our email address. Just email it in and give us a little little story as to what was the word in particular and the situation, and the best ones we'll read out on air.
Yeah,
So the email
absolutely.
address, if those of you are watching, you'll be able to see it on Tayo's name tag, but I'll read it for the benefit of our listening audience. It's TNT Talk Show, with no spaces in all of that, at mail.com. TNT Talk Show at mail.com. And please send those in. It doesn't have to just be that, but send that in. Any particular strange event with spelling that you were adamant that's not how it's spelled, or you spelt it a particular way, and we'll collate those and read out the best ones on air in the next show. Right, now let's move on with this topic. So I'll restate it once more. Is equal parenting a good thing? And it was yours, unless you want me to talk about it first.
Yeah, I don't really mind. Who do you? I can take it. It's very
Go on and
simple,
start. It's seen
straightforward.
as it was your topic. You should really
Equal
begin.
parenting is when, after a divorce, children are mandated to spend an equal amount of time with both parents, to put it simply. And is that a good thing? The feminists, as usual, want to, in the name of equality, take everything, which is not what equality means, but man, you know what I mean? So they advocate that the so-called natural child rearer, which is a gender stereotypical role. So if you're saying feminism, why would there be a natural child rearer? Well, because then you get paid child support, you see? So anyway,
So
long story
feminism
short,
isn't advocating equality between the sexes then?
sorry?
Isn't feminism advocating equality between the sexes or not?
Well, if you're in the name of equality, always grasping unequal outcomes, I would suggest that your equality pose is just a pose and it's not serious, and you're actually looking for female supremacy and not female
Not
equality.
equality. Okay.
The important thing being this, the question is, well, what's good for the child? And I never mind, which gender wins or anything like this. So actually looking at it from the point of view of the child, what's the best outcome? And some people say, well, the best outcome is equal parenting. It's because both gender influences the average child requires input of both genders, to grow up well adjusted and that sort of thing. Because there are different parenting. Yes. Sorry, sounds like the bell going off. There are not equal. There are different styles of parenting which are just natural for men and women. They're different and they complement each other, and children benefit from that. That's the argument. So I thought, okay, well, I don't know why I thought it would be worth talking about on the show, but anyway,
Well,
that's
isn't it, the equality bit where 50% with one parent, 50% with the other, that not necessarily the most benefit for the child, because it really depends on how it's executed. Each parent has to give 50% properly. So it's no good, the child being 50% with one parent and that parent is doing something else. Do you see what I mean? Then it isn't necessarily good. Just have, for instance, let's say, I don't know, you've got a scenario where the children during the week are with the mother and then at the weekend with the father, and the mother's working all week. She's not spending that much quality time with the children. The father gets them at the weekend and can do all fun stuff. So they're getting more input from the father than the mother, even though the mother might technically have the children for 5 days instead of 2. So it's not just equal parenting. It is what's the outcome for the child? Are they getting the parents in equal measure, so to speak? And that's what really needs to be looked at. So it's not one size fits all, is it? Yes, they do need to spend time with both, but it's got to be good quality time as well.
yeah. Here's the thing. it doesn't really float my boat, because it's I just feel sort of a pox overtake the whole house on this because it's why are we even thinking about how to split parents, how to split children between divorced parents. You know, you stand up in court or in church nowadays, or in front of someone you just nominated as being the marriage official, the person who conducts the marriage. I think you have to be licensed in America. I don't know if you have to be licensed in the UK
Yeah, you do. You do.
to conduct a marriage.
Yes, absolutely.
Okay. So you stand in front of such a person and then you say, yada, 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 till death, for better or worse, till death do we part.
We part. Yeah.
And we've discussed this before in one of our very early episodes, very, very early episodes. And I argued that if you say till death do I part, you've made an oath, we're going to hold your feet to the fire and you aren't going to have to stay in the marriage until death parts you. Now, at the same time, I'm saying you don't have to say that. Okay? So there'll be no law mandating that you have to say till death do us part. You can say for the next 5 years, you could say, for example. For the next 20 years. But whatever you say, we're going to make sure as a society that you live up to it. And if you
But
don't
if the
go,
vows are broken, then the whole thing is broken, surely.
that's not our problem. You said for better or for worse. So you got worse. So it's not society's problem. Deal with it. Big boy pants or big girl underwear, whatever you want to put it. So we don't care. And then what you have mandated will tell us whether you get a license to have kids or not.
What?
So if you say,
That can't
hold
be
on,
enforced. But
yeah,
okay,
hold,
go on.
yeah, well, you can actually, because if you then drop a kid out of, without a license, we're not going to tell you to off the kid. We'd never do that because no, nothing. We're not murdering children. No. What is it? Okay, well, it's happened. It's happened. These things happen. Now, automatic sterility. We're going to sterilize both of you because obviously you don't know what the hell you're doing. So for protection society, we'll sterilize you, but you got the two kids. So those two kids will live with you and then automatically defaults to both parents at the end of the marriage. So there's nothing to discuss really. It's all just a well-regulated society, no nonsense rules. Everybody understands what's going on, and you're in or you're out. If you don't want to get married, don't get married, but you can't have kids. So if you
And
want
you
kids,
and you blame me for fascism,
no, no,
dude. I mean, come on, that is just. What so? You're not getting my vote on this, and I'm not sure many of our listeners and viewers will want to vote with you and go, oh, Tayo's got a really good idea there. We stop having sex, we stop having kids, because unless we get a license from some government body. No way, Jose. Not
you can
doing
have
that.
sex. You can have sex. You just need to have well-protected sex. And there's the morning after pill. So you can get the morning after pill free on NHS. There's no reason for you ever to have a kid by accident.
Yeah, but you might want a kid. You might want to plan a kid, and then something happens.
Then you
Infidelity,
marry.
pressures of life.
Well, infidelity, you just got to be. These things happen. You know,
Good grief.
pick a better partner. Well, spouse.
Well, you
next
can't
time.
if you've already committed till death do part. If one of the vows has been broken, then
Okay, all right. Look, you know what? We will discourage infidelity like we used to do it back in the old days. Strap it to a pole, 24 lashes of the cat of the whip, and we do that routinely until you've learned your lesson. So we might just ask the husband, has she been naughty again? Yeah. Outside again, flap, flap, flap. You know? I guarantee that within a few weeks you'll just be like, yeah, okay, I'm good now. It's fine. There we are, done.
what
The
sort of
same thing for the
dystopian
guy.
world is this?
It's the same thing for the guy. If the wife says, look, man, this guy is like a tomcat all over the blooming place, man. It's like, oh, really? We can sort that out. Straight to the pole. Fwap, 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 fwap. Settle
Yeah,
down, guy.
yeah,
And
but where's the evidence? This is like, this is crazy. You're
oh, you have
a
to. Yeah, look,
dystopian sort
I'm a
of
facts and evidence man. So yeah, it's like, well, who with whom, you know? But don't forget that in my utopia, telling
dystopia, not
lies,
utopia.
telling lies is going to attract the worst possible punishment. You don't want to be caught lying in a tire run thing, because that is what the cancer that eats at society. You don't want to be caught lying. I don't think there's anything worse than lying to the state, or the state itself telling lies. So if a politician says, I'm going to do this, and this doesn't do it, wouldn't you love to see Keir Starmer taken out and given 100 lashes of the cane for all the crap he's been telling you? Fwap, fwap, fwap. I mean, you'd volunteer. In fact, I'd say that you have to run a lottery, and if you win the lottery, you come and you deliver one of the blows. I think after that, a lot of politicians would just like straighten up. People always take the mickey until there are consequences. All these politicians are just busy lying now. If you institute what I've just said, it's like a miracle. The next day, they'll just be like, ah, yeah, okay, you know, when I said blah blah blah, I misspoke. This is the situation. Yeah, we're
Yeah,
blowing your taxes on champagne and flashy dinners in France. I should have said that earlier. I'm so sorry I didn't. But now I'm coming clean because you don't want to be strapped to a pole. And then we just improve society.
I must say, I am so grateful that you won't get into power, because I don't know what sort of world that would be. It's certainly not one that I would want to live in. And I'm not sure our listeners and viewers would be that
Well,
keen
people
on
should
that.
write in. You know, when I used to be on Facebook, a lot of people were actually supporting the position. So, well, you know, it's a bit some the comments went something like, you know, in some places you're a bit strong. That's a bit much. But by and large, I'd vote for you. The only people who wouldn't vote for me are people who sort of know me very well. And I don't know. I think that's just a sort of they understand that I'm not kidding, but the people out there think, he's kidding. You know, he's just fronting. I ain't kidding, man. Seriously, I'm not kidding. Listen, if you vote for me, I will fix the country.
Oh,
But you might not like the way I do it. But the country will be
no.
fixed, and you'll be happy as you'll be as snug as snug as a bug in a rug. You'll be
I'm not
really
sure
happy.
about that, whether that's true or not. But let's move on with this. Okay, look. We digress there slightly, but the issues about having the kids with both parents. Now, we've obviously said boys and girls do need both parents, but some elements of it are one parent is not better, but is more is better for the boys if it's a man, and better for the girls if it's a woman. So there are gender differences in the way that they're developing it, not in the beginning ages, but certainly when you get to 7, 8 on and onwards, between 8 and 12 maybe. Those are really interesting years, because it's like a critical window for children's psychology, and they really need to have the gender that they are spend more time with them at that age. There seems to be evidence that seem to back this up, because there's a rough and tumble element of how boys act, and women don't understand that quite as much as men do, obviously, and so they can't relate to boys if boys are more rough and tumble. So the men, the fathers, are more able to deal with that side of it because they've gone through it themselves. The physical boys, it's already shown that men, fathers, are more physical with their boy sons than they
Their
are with
boy
their
sons?
daughters. They're sons than they are with their daughters. I was going to
Okay.
say they're boys, and then I said sons. They're more physical. They encourage more risk taking, whereas mothers tend to be more verbal and more cautious, and that isn't necessarily good for a boy growing up. not solely that side. You see what I mean? I'm not saying it's
Absolutely.
incorrect. You need both. You definitely need both. And there's statistics that show that when boys are growing up and they're only getting information from one side, typically the mother, the statistically it shows they struggle more with behavior issues.
Yep.
They've got more aggression, they have academic failure because the male input is not there. So the male input is needed for boys from that age, the 7 onwards, 7 to 12 age range. And equally for girls, boys behave and respond better to the father during that age. Equally, women, girls, respond better to their mothers during that age. So the first few years, up till about 7, it doesn't matter really which parent the children are with, predominantly, strangely enough. They both get that the children will develop pretty much the same up until that age. But the years from 7 till 12 are the key formative years, and they're the ones that influence the children the most in terms of their gender. And this has been shown by statistics. So it's an interesting viewpoint. I didn't know this until we did research for this show, that this came to light. So there is evidence out there to show this. So having no male input at all for boys actually leads to more problems for boys later in life.
I'm gonna have to do some pushback, and I came across this a long time ago in my manosphere work. That what you said about girls being better with their mothers than with their fathers, I believe that there's statistical evidence that that's incorrect. And I cleaned up my language there because you know what I like to say a load of baloney, but I like to be a bit stronger than that. I believe that the data shows that it's usually best to be brought up by, if there is a single parent, the parent should be the father. Just end of story. It's just all across the board. Because fathers are more disciplinarian and the kids tend to not wind up in prison, not wind up topping themselves off, which is a very British
That's the
expression. I'm trying
men.
to.
That's the
Sorry?
men. I agree with you. This is the men.
Yeah, well, and then not ending up as an OnlyFans model and doing all sorts
Right.
of.
Okay. Yeah, I get that because
But
also,
you said you get it, but the audience will know what you're talking about because
no,
you didn't
okay,
bring it
look,
up.
I understand what you're saying there, where if it's only a female input, the female doesn't understand how to navigate the male, the male that they'll encounter in life. And there's they'll the girls will be less equipped to deal with healthy male relationships because they won't have seen how the father treats them and how they expect to be treated. So what tends to happen is girls, if they don't have a father figure as well, they are affected negatively too, in so much that they don't know what a healthy relationship with a male would be like. They tend to, it shows that girls without any male input also don't figure that well, in so much that they put up with wrong relationships, and put it that way. They will be more likely to not respect themselves. And as you said, OnlyFans and things like that, that could happen more when there hasn't been a male influence. But equally, men cannot deal with the female side of things, like puberty, menstrual cycles, that sort of thing, that a mother can deal with for the girl. So this is where the equal parenting is needed during the early part of a childhood, because of all these differences that the child has to experience growing up. And both parents are there, not just for security angle, but giving them a framework on which to build their lives upon in the proper manner. So it's needed on both sides, not just one over the other.
I was specifically pushing back against your earlier statement, which I think you yourself have now satisfactorily debunked when you said it's better for girls to be brought up by their mothers. This is not true.
I
And
didn't say
there's
that
something
though.
called
I
no.
didn't say that.
That's what I understood you to say. So there's something called the National Longitudinal Study of Youth, United States Study of Youth. I don't like the fact that the AI here didn't tell me what year this thing was published. I've asked for a link. If I find one, I will send it to you. It states, national blah blah blah, started in 1979 and it followed 12,000 individuals from 1979. I don't know when it was published. Anyway, here it is. So I don't want to hold up the recording. I'll go through this as I can because what was that? Did you hear a funny sound?
Yeah, that was me bumping my microphone. You could tell this is live. I got an itch. I'm itching my itch, and I knocked the microphone. There you go.
Do you know, for those who are just listening on the podcast, do you remember the old Rank films, RANK, from the old British film studio Rank? Remember the guy who went and bashed the gong in the beginning?
Yes, at the beginning.
That's what it sounded like. It sounded like a gong. So it was like, and I was wondering, hang on, what the heck is that? It's Tony playing with his microphone. Anyway, yeah, I asked for a single link and he gave me about 3 pages to look at here. So I'll try to sort that out. But it's called the United States, what's it called again? United States National Longitudinal Survey of Youth. And it says that the delinquency rates are much higher with girls brought up by their mothers than it is with girls brought up by their fathers.
There tends to be more, what's the word I'm looking for? When the father's approval seems to matter for some reason, strangely, and we can't explain that yet, why that is. So a male figure's approval seems to be needed by both boys and girls, which is an interesting one that popped up.
No, I wouldn't know. My parents disapproved of me all through my life, so I don't know. Oh, is that why I'm strapped them to the strap them to the pole, man, and get 24 lashes of the cane? I'll sort everything out.
You see, if the father is around and able to influence both the children, if the boy and girl, we're using this as the example here, the girl will get more self-esteem getting it from the father, which is quite interesting. And
more self-esteem
from the father, yeah. Strange. I don't know why that is, but that seems to have popped up. It just gives them maybe it's because they realize that how men should behave as to what they then encounter. So if they encounter some dodgy men, and there will be quite a few of them as well, if they don't know what a baseline is, like for instance a father who's there could give the right messages, then the girl child will know what to expect that's good. So she'll value herself more when she does meet men and make sure that the men are of the standard she should expect. Whereas if they've only got the female's point of view, the mother's side, they then don't know how to navigate through this maze of men to find the right one that fits for her. And equally for the boys growing up, yes, they need the mother, they need the nurturing and the love on that side of it, so they too will respect women, but also they need direction from the male, from the father, on how to be a man. They do need that. If it's only from the woman, then they're losing a big chunk of their masculinity, that what makes them be a male. Pardon my
You're wrong
English,
about that, you know, by the way. It turns out that boys brought up by their mothers tend not to respect women, females. They grow up not liking females. This epidemic we have of so-called male loneliness is partly due to the large number of boys brought up by their mothers. by single mothers. Because, and I've studied this before, and I think I've mentioned this several times on this show, women don't discipline boys in a way that boys would respect. Women discipline by using shaming language. But many times shaming language doesn't land because it's not based on logic, it's based on feelings. So today's action, she's happy with you, might even draw praise. And then the same action another day, when she's unhappy with you, will draw abuse. And that kind of inconsistency, after a while, the kid just gives up. And I taught many male students with this particular problem. Many, over a dozen. We had this particular problem with it, and they just sort of give up afterwards. None of this makes sense. You're not making sense. And that lack of making sense, that's what drives these kids absolutely potty. And in the end, they despise, unfortunately, they despise women because they just think women are crazy. Do you remember when I said?
I mean, you got to give them some credence because women will be able to teach the boys emotional intelligence more so than the fathers. That is more akin to their strengths. So,
that's pretty blue pill thing to say.
No, it's not. It's not. That's actually a need.
I don't believe they have emotional intelligence to teach emotional intelligence.
That's a bit.
So yeah, because it's BS. What you're telling us is that we men don't have emotional intelligence. But we are the ones dealing with people who have emotional
less so.
Crises. So. What do you mean by that? What is less?
You know what? Because we're primarily the we're the ones who are the food gatherer of the species.
That's got nothing to do with it. Give me an example. What do you mean? I want to understand what you mean.
I'll give you an example. Right? We use less words than women for a fact. Men do, although I don't know.
That's something to do with emotional intelligence.
Let me explain. Also, when you're going out hunting, you don't care the animal you're chasing, what feelings it has. You don't care. You just want to chase the animal. Women, however, have more emotional intelligence because they have to understand the nuances from a child that's young, that doesn't speak, and has to know what is this child thinking, feeling. So they're more in tune and they have more emotional intelligence than men. It's not that it's you're born with it. It's a skill that you learn.
I know what you're talking about. What you say? You want to talk to your food? Is that what you're saying? I mean, what are you talking about?
That's what I'm saying. It's not a skill that's inherently.
No, what are you talking about? What I'm trying to understand. This isn't like one of our typical arguments. I'm not arguing. I'm trying to figure out what you're saying. When you say that women have got more emotional intelligence than men, I'm trying to figure what does that mean? I mean, give me an example in okay, so in this situation, a man would do this, but a woman would do this, and you see that means the woman has got more emotional intelligence. That's what I'm asking for.
Emotional intelligence is knowing how to use the emotions in the right way when the need arises.
Is that why women-dominated HR causes such
causes? Now you've got to back that up.
Yeah, well, it does. It causes more unhappiness. It's anecdotal. I suppose I could. Thank God I got money. So there's more dissension. There's more. Is that the word? Yeah, I suppose I can live with that. There's more dissension, more unhappiness. Everybody's looking over their shoulders. There's more suspicion. There's everybody's walking around on eggshells.
That's general. That's not right. You're being too harsh now. Because if you have an issue, you're more likely to. Because even boys, don't say it's not true. Even boys want to be heard. So if you're going to go and speak to someone in HR and a woman is listening, she's going to be more understanding. Because sometimes you don't want an answer. You just want to be heard. And a woman is more likely to listen. Yes, more likely to listen. Whereas a bloke will go, get a grip, man. And that's not the answer that a lot of people don't want to hear. It
might be, if it's slipping through your fingers, then get a grip. It's a fantastic idea. What do you mean?
No, it's not true. Because You have to assess the
Dude.
situation and the individual. And women are better equipped at that, understanding whether the person just needs a hug, person just needs to be listened to, or the person needs to be guided in a certain way. Blokes are less skillful in that area. I've seen that myself firsthand. But anyway, that's not what we're discussing here. But why you need both genders to bring up children is because they've both got their strengths. And the child needs to get a balance, needs to learn from the man and the woman, the father and the mother, in order to be a rounded child, a more rounded child. But then I'm going to caveat that there's still many, many children that have grown up with either a single mum or a single dad, and they've turned out magnificently well because the parent, whoever it is, has done a terrific job and known and understands how to bring up that child. So it's not just what the genitalia is, it's whether the individual, the parent, knows how to bring up their son or daughter, etc. So it isn't just gender, it's character, the person's belief system on how to bring up the children in the right and proper manner.
So, bringing receipts. Harvard Business Review 2019.
You only
MIT.
sent me the name of this national longitude survey.
Yeah, sorry, going to have to, because that's the one that's got like 3 pages behind it. I can't do it because we've got another thing to talk about.
Yes.
But if you can track it down, that's the name. I'm going to send you another one now. Harvard Business Review 2019, MIT 2021. Find evidence of same-gender bias in HR. Women in HR tend to favor female candidates in hiring and are more lenient towards female employees in performance and disciplinary issues. A 2022 resume audit showed resumes with traditional female names received preferential treatment. Female-dominated HR departments correlate with stricter behavioral policies, that's not emotional intelligence, more mandatory training, e.g. sexual harassment and DEI, which is actually a form of bullying, and higher use of progressive discipline over termination. Now, that is not gender, what do you call it again? What do you call it? Emotional intelligence. I need something where we agree that this is what objectively emotional intelligence is, and then because it is objective, we can then test it. So let's maybe make that another discussion for next time. But in the meantime, I'll give you the links to share with our audience. I hope audience members actually go to our blurb and pick up these things, because some of these are really fascinating when you follow them down the rabbit hole. Oh, what am I doing? Sorry.
I don't know what you're doing. But I am going to read I am going to read a comment for. I put this question out on social media today. I was very late before we were doing the show, so I didn't give people very much time in order to respond. But we did get some response, and I'm going to read one out here from someone called Paolo, and he said, and I'll summarize.
Hello, Paolo.
Hi. So the girl can be taught to play with dolls, hair, makeup, etc., and the boy can learn about football or maybe playing with toy guns, DIY, cops and robbers, boxing or the like. But which parent? When in fact life skills, whether cooking, hunting, DIY, finances, interview techniques, etc., could all be taught by a parent. We may need some open minds on this one to equip our youngsters appropriately. So it doesn't matter, I think what he's trying to say, it didn't matter who is doing this as long as they are done. So you're not limiting the children's growth or their experiences based on one or other gender. So if the children were predominantly with the father, he's teaching them DIY, boxing, he then has to then also do cooking, finances, life skills. And equally for the female, if a woman is bringing up a son, yes, you want to teach him the cooking, the stuff that you would normally teach, but equally you also need to teach DIY, boxing, rough and tumble, guns, if it's America, etc. So it has to be the whole gambit of things to make a child rounded, and the child can then decide what avenue they want to go down. But
I think it's self-evident that 2 parents are better than 1. I mean, it's common sense. I don't see why it wouldn't be.
So
My
should we
position
set
is
up a rent a parent offering? So all those women who don't have who are single parents, for instance, and don't have a father figure, maybe there should be an online version of Rent a Father, so that they could.
no. What there should be is where the hell is the father, and the father should step up to the plate. So you
Wow,
can't just go around dropping off kids left, right, and center forward, and not
not
having anything
taking
to do.
responsibility,
Yeah,
indeed.
but at the same time, it's got to be a lot easier. So the laws have to change to make it, in fact, mandatory for the father to be in the child's life. Now,
Yeah,
if he
absolutely.
doesn't want to be in the child's life, then he can accept 360 lashes of the cane instead and say that, okay, yeah, I made a mistake, but I got to pay for it. So he gets the lashes of the cane. But you see, here's the problem. Even then, who looks after the kid? So we can't even. So actually, we have to keep on giving him lashes of the cane until he changes his mind and settles down and ponies up. This is his responsibility.
As well,
You,
indeed. So, and
you
that way the
get
child
snipped
gets.
before you roll.
Yeah,
So once you're
indeed.
snipped, it's not your problem. It's not yours. Fine. But if you're going to run around and say, hey, I'm the man, and then you drop a kid, look, man, you've got responsibilities.
Absolutely. Right, okay. I want to get on to another topic, seeing as we've done this one. Do you want anything more to add to this? So, is equal parenting a good thing?
Yes, it's a good
Yeah,
thing.
I totally agree. I totally agree. It has to be both, in my opinion. Right, let's move on. Second question. And this is another one of yours. And this is, should women now make the first move? And
Ah,
I'm assuming
right.
in relationships, or start in relationships, or instigate in a relationship, etc. Should women now make the first move?
It's called approach. Should women approach men?
Approach, yeah.
And
Okay.
then that's the technical term in manosphere terms. How
Okay.
should women approach men? Well, what do you think Atara is going to say? I'm curious because the AI that knows me best got it wrong.
You may say no, because otherwise it takes away the strength element of the man.
You're partly right. You're partly right. Yeah, you're
Uh,
not
uh,
entirely right, but you're partly right. Well
yeah,
done.
because you would probably say that the man needs to man up and
Absolutely.
go and do it anyway. However, most men actually would like it. I've experienced it myself when I was a lot younger. Not so much now, ladies, but yes, certainly.
Hint, hint. Mind you, you're a married man,
That
so no,
wasn't a
don't.
hint. That wasn't a hint. I'm just making that out. But when I was young and single, I did get women actually come up to me and ask me out, and I was quite flattered by it. And it did it equalize it? I mean, obviously, there's a bit of a fear element when you're having to do the going over. There's this fear of rejection. And that fear is real because people don't want to be rejected, because rejection can be painful. And the women now that are doing that, fair enough, gives them, I'll give them a thumbs up there for even attempting it, because fear of rejection is a thing. And some people won't do it, and male and female won't do it for that fear of rejection. They hope, in quotes, that a potential suitor is going to be the one that comes up to them. But you're restricting your chances in life. If you are just sitting and waiting for someone to come up to you, you could be waiting forever. And the person of your dreams, if you don't overcome that fear of rejection and just do it anyway, then you're losing that opportunity because someone else may do it instead. So I think it's brave for girls to do it, and it certainly doesn't take away anything from the men. There's no biological imperative that a man needs to do it. It's great if they did, but even if maybe they didn't see the girl. Say a girl approaches a guy, he maybe didn't see her. That's quite a nice feeling, where someone says, "Oh, I noticed you," and come up to you, and it's like, "Oh, okay, that's quite flattering." So there's no issue there. They should be encouraged, in my opinion, from both sexes. But I can see the safety angle from women. because in the past, like, I'll give you a simple scenario, right? If a guy went out on his own into a Saturday night, high street or clubs, what's the chances of him being chatted up by a female? Actually quite low.
Yeah, I
Quite low.
haven't done that in decades, so I would know.
Exactly. It's low. However, if a female went out by herself, regardless, she would be hit on by some guy, period. No matter what. So it doesn't matter if she doesn't want to be hit on. She will be hit on. It's just what happens. Because guys, if they have a bit of alcohol, that certainly gets rid of this fear of rejection. They will go ahead and try and chat up anybody. It's just what blokes do. So a female doing it gives her a little more control rather than having to fend off drunken men. Because it does happen. I've seen it. I've been part of that crowd myself. So I know it happens in abundance. So if women now take up the reins and also do their fair share of asking guys, then you may get less guys going up to women. It may have that knock-on effect. I don't know. I'm just speculating here, but I don't see it as a bad thing. I think it actually gives the women more control because they can pick as well as the other way around. A bloke can obviously still go up to a woman, but a woman can also do it to a guy. And if she gets rejected, then welcome to our world, because that's one of the things that men have to go through all the time, but they still proceed. So women would be part of the equation and getting rejected, but I tip my hat to them. If they do it, it would be great.
I just strongly disagree with women coming up to men. It puts them in the position of playing the masculine role. They're doing it because they're desperate. This is America I'm talking about. They're desperate because men have decided that today's woman, with today's women, the juice isn't worth the squeeze. Today's women are hyper-masculinized, they're defeminized, they're incorrigible, they're entitled, they are unpleasant, they're uncouth, slovenly dressed most of the time, and then when they are dressed, they've got pancake makeup on. You don't know what the heck you're actually working with until the sun rises, and it could be an unpleasant experience, and so on and so forth. And most of them got body counts that would make I don't even know what, I don't know that a good metaphor.
I've got to defend women here. I mean, at least some of them when they go out, at least they look nice to begin with. We look hideous start, middle, and end.
Sorry, I'm actually a masculine male, so I'm not going to make fun of men. I'm not a misandrist.
Come on.
I'm not a misandrist.
Your self-confidence that low that you can't even laugh at yourself.
My self-confidence, that's a very feminine, that's what we call shaming language. It's a very feminine attack.
No,
my self-confidence is unparalleled.
If you're believing
if it's funny, I'll laugh. Say something funny and I'll laugh.
If your masculinity...
You've just insulted all men. That's a misandry and it's not welcome. The same thing as insulting all women.
Because I've been joking.
Of course you did. You just said we're ugly. No, what do you mean we're ugly? We're not ugly. We're handsome. Why are we ugly? There's an average, what do you call this thing? A bell curve. Some of us are 10s, and they're 10s, and some of us are 1s, and they're 1s. But most of us are 5s, because that's what average is.
Yeah.
But most of us are average looking.
Yeah.
And we don't do makeup and pancake makeup and all this sort of things.
And try to dressed up. No, she's telling me they don't look nice.
They're not. They're dressed up like what they're doing is they're faking youth. That's what makeup does. They smoothen the skin. They try to hide the wrinkles. The whole idea of a 35-year-old woman slapping on all that makeup is she wants to look like she's in her early 20s.
No,
she may not know
she
what.
Wants to look a nicer version of 35.
That's what she thinks she's doing. But sexually, what she's doing, she's lowering her age, the visual cues of her age, and making herself more attractive to men because men naturally gravitate towards women in the early 20 range. We ourselves don't know that we're doing it. It's just that we've studied it and we understand the biology of it. So that's what they're doing. That's what all this eyebrows thing and the blue rouge lips. And rouge lips are supposed to be like a sexual, what do you call it, signal of blood flowing to the lips, which is like normalized blood pressure and all sorts of things. It's all very technical, and there's a reason why they do these things.
And it
you're saying that
works.
it works. It works on people who don't, or men who don't understand what the hell they're looking at. Once you're red pilled and you know what you're looking at, you understand why she's dressed like that, why she's got high heels on, which is the elevation of the calf muscles, which is to strengthen her back and push out her pelvis. You know all this, and it's not automatic. And what you're doing is that she's actually fronting. That's not what she looks like. So what she looks like will be revealed in the morning when there's no makeup and no high heels. That's all I'm trying to say. And then you jumped on and said, "Oh, men are ugly" or something. No, we're not.
Oh my goodness me! You need to get a. You need to
No,
stop.
you need to. No, you need to stop with anything that's slightly misandry because the entire society is misandrist, and that's what we're fighting against. We are fighting against the giant.
You're seeing the You're not even seeing the misogyny angle.
We don't
It
even
works
care about the
both
misogyny
ways.
anymore. I don't care about misogyny because
No,
the
you
whole idea is
wouldn't
this. I don't care about misogyny because when we started worrying about misogyny, they turned misandrist on us and they attack us. It's us now under attack. It's not them. There's a giant gynocentric society. If you go to court, I've sent you a link now. Haven't I sent you links
Okay.
to where it says HR is actually on the side of women against men.
Where's that from? Personality.
That's a
Big five
form
traits. Yeah.
that's misandry. That's what we should be worrying about. There's no avenue anymore. We're not going to accept.
You no longer
I'm
can
going to finish
laugh
saying
at
I'm not
yourself
finished. I'm
and
not going to, not when it comes to misandry. No, as soon as there's the slightest hint of misandry, we're going to pump down on it because we need to, we must. That's why when I sent you the joke the other day, and not the joke, when I sent you that clip the other day, where everybody was laughing when they said something against men, and then as against women, so when they said something against men, the whole audience laughed. When they said something against women, nobody laughed. And I said to you, I said, look at this. This is what is going on in our society now. You can see loads and loads of sitcoms where the women talk down to the men, laughter track. Men talk down to the men, show me one. It doesn't happen. It's insidious. And you have sons. And I'm defending your sons.
Right,
this is not funny. Their future is in the hands.
I go to comedy clubs a lot, and they take the mick out of men and women. It's because you're confident enough to laugh at yourself and
as
the
I
other
said, if it's
genders.
funny, it's funny. But when you make jokes against men, and I don't say an equal number of jokes against women, then that is slighted to one side, and it's not acceptable. If you make jokes against both. Yeah, okay. Then it's nice and open, easy.
Okay.
But it's not like that in greater society, and we've got to be
I
aware
was
of it.
making a joke generally, right? You said that women were ugly, okay? So I'm countering it that we're ugly because we're ugly in terms of we go out the same. We don't put makeup on, but we still try to look nice. Still comb our hair. Those of us that have got hair. You still go and dress smart. That's still part of it. So that's false because that's not. You don't wear those clothes when you're at home. You wear them when you go out. So don't tell me that we're immune. Blokes do exactly the same as women. They just don't put makeup on. So it's nonsense to believe
Everybody
that.
puts their best foot forward, but only one of us is hiding their faces and claiming to be the sex, to be the gender that loves the truth. Only
Where does
one of
that
us.
come
It's not
into
both
it?
of us.
Where's that come into it?
Well, what do you mean
we
does that
haven't
come
even
into it?
addressed this topic, by the way.
This is Chris Rock joke. Says women love. Was it Chris Rock? Yes. I'm definitely sure it was Chris Rock. Women love to say that they love truth. They love the truth, but those aren't your nails. Those aren't your lashes. That's not what your skin looks like. You're not that tall, and that isn't your hair. That's his joke. But at the same time you claim that you love the truth. You're lying physically all the time. So
When did they
anyway,
say they want the truth? Sorry, for what? What example is he giving?
women is like your emotional intelligence thing that I had to take on. It's what women say. Oh, well, men tell lies all the time. Yeah, we tell lies all the time, and you tell the truth. Anyway, so back to what the hell were we saying now? Oh yeah, why a woman shouldn't approach. Women shouldn't approach because they're taking on the. Actually, let me just skip to it because that's only partly. You were partly right when you said, I would say, no, they shouldn't approach because that's the male role. That's not my objection. I'm MGTOW. Remember, men going their own way. Our position is that we're not going to participate in a society that hates us, and we've withdrawn. And by withdrawing from participation in society, we are placing society in serious hazard and jeopardy. For example, in America, I believe there are 400,000 plus jobs that require filling in construction industry. Now, when we hear 50-50 women, they want 50% representation, they apparently don't want to be roofers and they don't want to be on steel girders 50 floors up in the sky or something like that. They're not applying for such jobs. So men are withdrawing and saying, well, you all want to be in the boardroom and everything. Why can't you be in the coal mines? Why can't you be road sweepers? Why can't you be all these things? That, the manual side of things. There's only one particular thing you're looking for. So our strategy is working. Now, states in America, they're waking up, smelling the coffee, and they're going, okay, we're going to have mandatory paternity tests. Why now? Because marriage is crashed. Because no man is getting married. No man wants to get involved. Marriage is crashed. Childbirth is crashed. The strategy is working. So what we've got to do is we've got to ignore these panaceas, these little plasters that they want to give us. Here you go, mandatory paternity testing. Here you go, women can approach you now. It's like, no, leave us alone. You said we should leave you alone. Now we're asking you, demanding you leave us alone. We don't want to be part of your society. We don't want to be on the plantation. We're out.
Okay.
You just go away. Just leave us alone.
That's your viewpoint. I'm not sure that's shared by the majority of men. I think majority of men would be quite keen if women approach them. It
The
saves
majority
them
of
the
men,
heartache.
and that's the other thing. We've killed off all the strong men. I love this in Germany. What they're doing now is they've started taking up the medical examination. No, sorry, they haven't yet. They're voting whether they're going to allow medical examination of men to see who's suitable for military service. So what I would like the manosphere to say is, yeah, but this time, the ones who are not suitable for military service will be the first to be sent to the war front. Because what generally happens is that the strong men go to the war front, they get killed, the weaklings are left behind with the women control the weaklings, and then the survivors come back to find a gynocentric society. So let's send the weaklings first, they die first, and then whoever survives is strong. And that's how it should be. But we've been doing it the wrong way around all this time. There we go. I said my piece.
We've got to the end of the show. You need to sum up.
I need to simmer down.
Should women make the first move?
No. Stay away from us.
Okay. My view is completely opposite. Yeah, please do it. I haven't got no issue with that. I haven't no problem with my self-confidence. I've got no issue with women approaching.
Nobody has any issue with self-confidence. I speak very confidently. Anybody wants to take me on can come onto the show and take me on. I invite you. Come and test my self-confidence. Let's see.
Okay. Well, let's leave it there. All right. If you...
That's a very sneaky, very female way of approaching things. I think my self-confidence. It's the same thing as saying, yo, you're gay. It's exactly the same. It's the same type of approach. It's exactly the same approach. It's very sly. It's slanderous. What do you mean by self-confidence? No, seriously, man.
What are you worried about? What are you worried about?
I'm not worried. It's not worried. It's annoying. It's like me saying something like, you know what? If you don't have any hair, he must be like this. What kind of crap is that? It's not right.
What?
I've said enough now.
That women talk to you? Okay.
What?
What?
No, I say if you don't have any hair, then you must not feel like this. It's like,
I don't care. I'm not bothered if you can insult me. It doesn't bother me. Do you see what I mean?
Well, your voice has just changed, but it's gone down the register or two. So how do you feel now? So that's not true. Your voice just went down the register too. Your voice went down low like that. That's testosterone flooding.
Have you loved this episode? Please hit subscribe and stay tuned for more deep dives into prophecies, mysteries, and the unexpected twists of fate. You've listened to Tony and Tyre, and we are the TNT Talk Show. But unfortunately, we have reached the end of the show for another week.
Go viral, guys.